September 12, 1916, Kingsport, Tennessee. A small American town about to witness a day unlike any other. A day that would etch itself into memory, send chills down spines, and leave scars on the soul that would never fade. It was early morning when people inside their homes suddenly heard a strange rumble echoing through the air. Curious and alarmed, they rushed outside. What they saw was something no one in Kingsport had ever imagined. A traveling circus had arrived without warning. It was called Sparks' world-famous show. The spectacle was planned to begin with a dazzling parade and end with daring acts, acrobatics, tricks, and wild stunts. For the townspeople, this was the biggest event of their lives. By noon, the main street was overflowing with crowds. Music blared, clowns danced in colorful costumes, and jugglers paraded with painted dogs, horses, lions, even sea lions. Excitement filled the air. But nothing compared to what came next. The elephants. 5 of them, marching in a line, each holding the tail of the one in front. At the very front was the star of the show, the giant hathi, Mary. Mary wasn't just any elephant. Circus owner Charlie Sparks had advertised her as the largest living land animal on Earth. She weighed over 5 tons. Charlie had raised her since she was only a year old, trained her to do unbelievable tricks, stand on her head, play 25 tunes on a trumpet, and even throw a baseball. For Charlie, Mary was more than a performer. She was family, and the very heartbeat of his circus. But fate had something darker in store. That day, riding Mary was a man named Red Eldridge. He was 38, newly hired just the day before, and had no real experience with elephants. Worse, he had a cruel streak. In less than 24 hours, he had beaten Mary with sticks, forced her over sharp nails, and even pressed a hot iron rod against her trunk, laughing as she screamed in pain. Mary endured it all silently. Charlie knew nothing of this torment. The next day, during the show, Red took Mary to a pond for water. On the way, she stopped to pick up a watermelon lying on the ground. Red, furious that people might think he lacked control, lost his temper. He drove a sharp metal rod behind her ear, ripping her skin. This was too much. Mary, usually calm and gentle, had finally reached her limit. She flung the watermelon aside, turned on Red, grabbed him with her trunk, and hurled him across the ground. Then, with her massive weight, she crushed his skull beneath her foot. Red was dead. The crowd erupted in panic. Word spread instantly, the elephant has killed a man. Some shouted a murderer. Killer. A policeman even shot at her, but Mary's thick hide deflected the bullet. Charlie rushed to the scene. He loved Mary, but he also saw the rage in the eyes of the people. His beloved elephant, his most loyal companion, was now branded a monster. That night he lay awake, torn between love and survival. By dawn, he had made a decision. To save his circus, Mary would have to die. The troupe moved to the nearby town of Erwin. There, Charlie promised something the world had never seen before, an act so grand and unforgettable that no one would speak of anything else. News spread like wildfire, and thousands gathered. After the circus performance ended, the crowd swarmed toward the railroad tracks. There stood Mary, chained, confused, swaying gently as circus music played in the distance. She didn't know why she wasn't part of the show. She didn't know why people were glaring at her. Then the final act began. A massive rail crane was brought in. Before the eyes of the crowd, a heavy chain was looped around Mary's neck. Slowly, the crane began to pull. Mary trumpeted in panic, her eyes desperately searching for Charlie. Tears rolled down as if begging him to save her. But Charlie stood frozen. The chain tightened. Her legs lifted from the ground. She cried out one last time, as though saying, a goodbye, ear. And then, silence. Mary was gone. The people cheered. But in truth, humanity had failed. A gentle, faithful creature was executed, not for justice, but for applause. Charlie's circus survived. It even prospered in the years that followed. But Charlie himself was never the same again. The laughter, the joy, gone. He retired early, and in 1944 he too left the world quietly. To this day, the town of Erwin is remembered for one haunting reason. It was the place where an elephant named Mary was hanged. So ask yourself, was it justice, or was it cruelty dressed as entertainment?